Day number 15, Matthew 21, 1 through 11. As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and at once you will find a donkey tied there, with her colt by her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, say, 'The Lord needs them,' and he will send them right away." This took place to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet. "Say to daughter Zion, 'See, your king comes to you gentle and riding on a donkey, and on a colt, the foal of a donkey.'" The disciples went and did as Jesus had instructed them. They brought the donkeys and the colt and placed their cloaks on them for Jesus to sit on. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from trees and spread them on the road. The crowd that went ahead of him and those that followed shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest heaven!" When Jesus entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred and asked, "Who is this?" The crowds answered, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee." The oldest documented football cheer in Georgia Tech history is not likely to make a comeback anytime soon. Frank Markert was the center of the Georgia Tech teams of 2001-2002 when the first cheer surfaced. That cheer was not only the first he saw. The 1902 team devised a revolutionary play, an off-tackle run. That might not sound like much today, Markert recalled once, but the play changed the game because it took some of the emphasis from the mass play or the wedge. Markert was also present when the first forward pass was thrown against Tech, also in 1902. It certainly startled us when St. Albans, a small school from Virginia, pulled it on us, Markert said. The pass against the rules was a short pass to the halfback, and Tech's player coach objected. He'd never seen it before. The officials, though, let the play stand. They said it was a lateral pass, which was legal, instead of a forward pass. Markert was part of yet another pivotal first in Georgia Tech history. After his senior year in 1903, other players and he met with some alumni in the home of school president Lyman Hall and decided to offer the head coaching job to John Heisman of Clemson. The vote moved Tech into the big time since Heisman was the school's first full-time paid football coach. But Markert said years later, "I never really liked Heisman too much. He was rough and too demanding." He conceded, though, that football needed a coach like Heisman to evolve and improve. But what about that first cheer in 1902? Markert said it went, "Boomalaka, boomalaka, bow, wow, wow. Chickalaka, tickalaka, toe, toe, toe. Boomalaka, chickalaka. Who are we? Georgia School of Technology." Chances are you go to work every day, do your job well, and then go home to your family. This country couldn't run without you. You're indispensable to the nation's efficiency. Even so, nobody cheers for you, shouting, "Boomalaka, boomalaka, bow, wow, wow," or waves pom-poms in your face. Your name probably will never elicit a standing ovation if a PA announcer ever calls it. It's just as well, since public opinion is notoriously fickle. Consider, for instance, what happened to Jesus. When he entered Jerusalem, he was the object of a raucous cheering and an impromptu parade. The crowd's adulation reached such a frenzy, they tore branches off trees and threw their clothes on the ground. 5 days later, the crowd shouted again. Only this time, they screamed for Jesus' execution. So don't worry too much about not having your personal set of cheering fans. Remember that you do have one personal cheerleader who will never stop pulling for you: God. A cheerleader is a dreamer that never gives up. Source unknown. Just like the sports stars, you do have a personal cheerleader: God.